What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Today's episode, we're going to preview week 2. We have some starts, we have some sits, we have some sleepers. We're going to make picks, all that good stuff. But before we head into that, remember today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Underdog. Underdog is our favorite place to do all of our plays, year-long plays, best ball, all that good stuff. Head over to Underdog, enter promo code DUDES. They'll match you up to $1,000. Also, you want some help with Underdog? Jordan and Seth will be joining. They will be getting on YouTube only at TFF Dudes. They'll be giving their favorite Underdog plays. You won't want to miss that. That'll be coming out Friday morning. Head over to TFF Dudes on YouTube. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. With all that said, here we are back with the dudes. Seth is back in the house. Jordan's here. Phil's here. Phil promised he's not going to be coughing the whole entire pod this time. Apologies early. So, Phil, how we doing, buddy? You hanging in there before we could jump into this week 2 preview? And this will all be time-stamped in the notes, guys, if you want to skip ahead.
Yeah, most people like this part of the podcast. It makes me absolutely sick that Trent edits it out. But here's what I will say. There's a couple things here. When you go over a man's house and he doesn't know how to operate his grill and you're tagged in like a WWE tag team, and then he snaps a picture of you with an ill-fitting shirt and posts it on Twitter, I feel like that's just out of bounds. Jordan, you were there. The guy didn't know what he was doing. I stepped in like the hero that I am, showed him how to make smash burger tacos, and then he snaps a pic of me where essentially my shirt falls in all the wrong places. Like I don't have love handles, let's be honest, but like it looked like very much so that I did. And that picture was just not flattering. Trent, why you gotta do me that way when I'm literally helping you grill on your own beta grill at your overhang in your backyard? Go ahead, Seth.
I just got to fix one thing. Phil said his shirt falls. That shirt hugs. Okay. It doesn't fall. It hugs. There's a difference.
Well, Phil, you can get mad at
you. He did like one of those like top angles, like not helpful.
No, top angles or front angles. Like he could accentuate like my rounded shoulders and my I don't know. Seth, you're right. You're right. You're actually right, Seth. That's the problem. Go ahead.
Phil, you can get mad at Trent for taking the picture, but you're the one who picked the shirt out of the drawer and put it on. So
hey, let's not change this around. I was in the backyard with a bunch of dudes. I didn't think I was going to.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to prom. Phil. I didn't think I was going to I wore a trashy shirt. I'm hanging around with a bunch of guys. I didn't expect to see my body on display on Twitter. And like I said, I tagged in to help a guy out. The dude was making smash tacos, and probably it was so backwards. I'm not joking, Seth. It was so backwards how this guy was making smash burger tacos. He was cooking the tortillas and then smashing the meat down and then throwing the tortillas on top of them. Number one, that's a health code violation. I'm like 99% sure.
Gordon Ramsay would slap you.
Yeah, and number two, his form was all off. So I actually helped the guy out. But Trent, do you want to just, back yourself up, say anything about me having to step in and help you out? You've helped.
That picture is now up on YouTube at TFF Dudes. Come check it out.
And my hair, dude, I should have wore a hat. My hair never looks like that.
You should get a good haircut. That's what you should do. But that's besides the point. Yeah. Phil, you helped me out a little bit. I have made smash burger tacos just like that. The 2 months I've been making them had no complaints. Your way was a little bit better, but hey, that's okay. So it worked out. Jordan actually said the smash burger tacos were good. He was a fan and he's been hating on more than anything. Don't know if he'll claim that now though.
What I said was, Trent, these are not tacos, but they taste very good.
I don't remember the taco part, but I do remember him saying they were very good, Trent.
Yeah, that's all I needed. So,
it was a great first week of football. A great time at your house. Besides the fact that you were there, Trent. Yes. The whole week of football, right? Or can we recap it a little bit? It was a pretty good weekend. Yeah, Jordan, I know it struggles a little bit for you.
No, okay. Like, of course, I'm happy to have NFL back. I enjoy watching football all weekend. It didn't go well for me. The weekend wasn't but it's always nice to have football back. And I'm honestly, I think, more excited for this week too. I really dug in this week. I'm ready to get back at it. So I'm excited football's back. Of course, it's a lot of fun. Phil, anytime you can sit on the couch for 5 straight days and watch football, like There's nothing better
Nothing
than
but your
that.
church clothes.
And no
I do,
snacks.
Yeah.
No snacks.
And
Yeah.
no
No
snacks.
snacks.
This is what
Intermediate-
I'm
I
on a diet, Phil. No
Jeans
snacks.
on forever.
are you Seth, are you
Painted
actually
on.
on a diet?
Well, I don't want my shirts to fit like yours, so I got to make
Yeah,
sure
I'm
that,
also on a diet. I'm also on a diet, believe it or not. I think 3/4 of this pod, me, Jordan, and Seth are on a diet right now, which is crazy.
That's pretty cool right there. Seth actually coughed and muted himself. It was kind of cool that
He was
knows how to do
talking to
that.
someone in the background.
No, he's
I was
coughing.
talking. I was not coughing.
Anyways, okay.
also
I
don't
also
have a
love that
problem.
Trent wears that cowboy hat, I'm pretty sure, so that when people comment on YouTube, they always just go after the Cowboys. And it's
people go
deserved.
after this hat. People go after this hat on YouTube Shorts, like, oh, leave it up to the Cowboys fan to not know ball. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I
Leave it up to the
switching up
Cowboys
hats.
fan to not know how to read. And it's like, no, that's
Yeah,
just this guy
yeah.
specifically.
No. No. This hat right here. This hat, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it screams punch me in the face or just like this guy's a moron.
That's just your
But this
face.
hat brings it. This hat brings in the comments. And so I'm going to keep wearing it because of that. So we've tried the Cleveland Indians hat. I've tried the Dodgers hat. I've tried my Las Vegas Golden Knights hat. This hat ends up bringing them in the most. And maybe it's because it's a Cowboys hat. Not that many people have seen. It's all white. But yeah, so let's hop into week 2 right here.
We also have to recap who won.
So for week 1, Trent was in last place at 7-9. Phil went 9-7. I went 10-6, and then Seth was our winner at 12-4.
That's right, baby.
Rough week 1. Jordan, I know you did this. I picked the Bengals in 2 of my survivor polls, and that just shot me down. So on my 3 survivor polls, 2 are down. Do you have any left?
I got 1 left, yeah. I had the Seahawks in
too.
1, Bengals in 2, so I got 1 through.
Okay. Yeah, I went Bills and Bengals, and I went heavy on the Bengals, unfortunately. So, Jordan, here's our Thursday night football play. Before we get into that preview, Phil, do you want to preview the game, and then we can have Jordan give his plays? How do we want to do this?
Yeah, so why don't I just start it off, and then we'll let Jordan get into his preview. So so tomorrow's game kickoff, we have Bills versus Dolphins. The current total is 48.5. Miami is favored by 2.5. Jordan has some plays here. We want to hear him, Jordan.
Yeah, so I have Tyreek Hill over 96.5 receiving yards. This Buffalo defense, I think, is going to get torched by Tyreek Hill. So Buffalo gave up like bunch of catches to Greg Dortch out of the slot last week. In week 1, Tyreek plays quite a bit out of the slot. So I like Tyreek Hill here. And then I got some bounce back for the Bills. Dalton Kincaid over 44.5 receiving yards. Keon Coleman over 43.5 receiving yards. And then I got Devin A-Chain higher 15.15 fantasy points. So Mostert got ruled out. Hopefully that A-Chain is full go tomorrow. It could kind of get screwed on this if he's not full go, but I put this in before I knew any of the injury stuff. So biggest thing I think here is like the bounce back for Coleman and Kincaid. I do think in this matchup, I think Josh Allen's thrown for like crazy amount of like yards in every matchup with the Dolphins recently. It's like 350 plus, like even 400 one game in like his last 7 games against the Dolphins. So he plays really well against the Dolphins usually.
All
right. Yeah. I like the Keon Coleman play, Jordan. I think he has to. I feel like he has to bounce back. I feel like he should play better.
Well, I mean, he cleared that number. He cleared that number last week. Kincaid's the one that
I'm
really
talking
has to
about from a
bounce back.
fantasy perspective, though.
Yeah.
Like someone you put in your lineup, not just a guy that's going to cover the play. Like he had an end zone target. He didn't come down with it. You're probably playing James Cook in this game. What are we doing with Dalton Kincaid? You got to fire him up. I think,
I mean, if
Dawson
I'm playing
Knox
the
was
over on
field
his,
for more plays,
on his
right?
prop, I hope. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, Dawson Knox, they ran quite a bit of 2 tight end snaps. I have it here. Dawson Knox played 58% snaps. Kincaid 84% snaps. 61% of those snaps are out of the slot. So, I mean, Kincaid is out there. He's running routes. Like, it's not like he's not involved. Like, he just didn't get targets. I don't think that stays the same week 2. I think he gets there.
Yeah. And Dolphin side, Mostert is out. And Achane, we're not 100% sure, right? It's kind of what you were saying. Like, should play.
I think he was practicing, I saw. So I do think that he ends up playing.
And also, like those guys, I texted the group here. They literally ran 4 different backs last week, even with Achane and Mostert. I mean, they might have been banged up or maybe even hurt, but they had like 4 different guys run the ball there last week. Was it Mason? Not Mason. What's this guy's name?
No,
Wilson.
Wilson and then the fullback in gold. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had Wilson and the fullback actually ran a couple of plays as well outside of Achane and Mostert, which is it's just crazy. Basically 4 guys getting touches.
Yeah. Old friend of the pod, I had Fantasy Dad reach out to me and say, "Are you willing to play Jeff Wilson on Thursday Night Football? Like, would you put in a waiver ad for him?" I told him I didn't think I was ready to do that at the moment with, this early in the season. Maybe if more news comes out tomorrow, I might put in a waiver ad. I don't know how his waiver wire works though.
Yeah. I couldn't see myself right now trying to play Jeff Wilson.
Yeah. And recapping on last week, we didn't bring this up, but we went our start sit sleepers. We went 33% average. We did not have Seth's plays. So we're looking to bounce that back a little bit. So like week 1 was tough. Only 2 quarterbacks threw over 2 TD passes on Sunday. So the quarterback plays got to get better this week. I think like you would think it would, right? Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr were the only QBs on Sunday who threw over 2 TD passes. Did Jordan Love throw over 2 TD passes on Friday night? I thought Jordan Love did. He threw 1 to Watson and 1 to Reed. And then Jalen Hurts, I'm not sure. So, yeah, really bad quarterback week. Hopefully it bounces back, gets a little bit better here, helps out with all of our starts, all of our sits, helps with our sleepers, all that good stuff. Other stuff here in this Thursday night game, you're playing Waddle, you're playing Tyreek. I think you can play Khalil Shakir, right? Got kind of a weird TD
he only played
last week.
The problem with Shakir is he was outsnapped by Matt Collins. I know that Matt Collins plays more out wide, Shakir more in the slot, but only 53% snaps is not ideal for Shakir. Curious to see what that looks like this week.
Yeah, fire. This should be a good Thursday night game. So I'm going to say Bills.
I think we get a big
game.
Josh Allen
Anyone
game,
else?
Trent. Big Josh Allen game.
I think we get some more big Josh Allen, more hero ball Josh Allen. Like he kind of just willed them into that game last week, right?
But I do like James. Yeah, no, he did. I also like James Cook too. I mean, the Jaguars running backs did have success against on the ground against the Dolphins last week. So I think James Cook got the ball a ton last week.
So maybe this is another deep sleeper here. What about Tank Bigsby? Got the 2nd and 3rd carry of the game in week 1. They did use him more than I think what people were kind of expecting. He didn't get a touch or anything. He actually was more efficient on the ground.
I'm not using not this week against the Browns.
Sorry. I've got my Florida teams mixed up. My bad. Total. Yeah. Sorry. Thinking he was playing on Thursday night.
That's all right, buddy. Anything else you want to add to this Dolphins Bills game? I liked where your head is at.
Good catch there, Jordan.
I
like that Jordan caught it and just kept rolling with the punches there. I'm going Bills win this one.
Oh, that's tough. I have Miami at home.
And
Bills.
Phil, I'm going to put one of the
Seth.
Phil,
you're
I'm put that
muted.
Little sleep.
Oh man,
You muted yourself again, buddy.
He's still, yeah. I'm going to put this in the poll. I'm going to do a football survivor play. Go head over to our show notes, head over to the link in the wherever you listen to podcasts. We got a sleeper survivor poll there. We'll play there. You can do your picks against us. Maybe we'll give you a shout out or something. You can join the league chat, have some fun, maybe ask us more questions in there. So yeah, go check that out. The new sleeper survivor. It's fun. And dynamic payouts, guys. Enter promo code DUDES100. They'll match you up to $100 over there on sleeper. So yeah.
Seth,
what are you saying?
I think I'm gonna go Dolphins. As much as I don't like it.
All right, Fins.
So you guys all 3 are going with the Dolphins. I'm going with the Bills.
I went with the Bills.
Oh, you did too? Okay, cool. That makes me nervous. All right. So we have the next game that we have is Buccaneers versus Lions. Total right now is 51.5. Detroit is favored by 7 at home. Seth, you have a sleeper in this game.
Yeah, so I have Baker Mayfield as my sleeper right now. On sleeper, they have him at QB 17 for week 2. We did see like I would say pretty much I don't know if I would call it a career performance in the NFL, but one of his best games in the NFL, 24 for 30, awesome. 289 yards, 4 touchdowns. He even had 3 carries for 21 yards. And that was against Washington, and Washington's defense I don't think is that good. But I do think he can have success against the Lions, and I think this game's going to be more competitive than we think. Matt Stafford, let me see how many yards he had last week against them. He had 317 and 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So I do think Baker Mayfield can repeat a good performance here. I don't think he's going to get anything more than 25 points, but I do think a 20-point game is good, and I think he does finish a top 10 quarterback. So like I said, if you have bad quarterback play from last week of a quarterback you didn't really like having, maybe you had a Trevor Lawrence or you had a different quarterback that you thought would do well that didn't. I think Baker
Jordan
Mayfield's
Love.
a guy you can take. Jordan Love, if he's hurt, right? I think Baker Mayfield is a good. I don't know if it's necessarily a true sleeper, but it's someone. If most people aren't starting this guy, so I think it's 24% started last week, or maybe that's accounting for this week too. So I definitely pick him up and play him if you need a quarterback here. I think this is a good spot. I think this game can be pretty competitive. Hopefully it's high scoring like I think it's going to be. And I think that could be fun to have Baker Mayfield who's riding off a good performance last week.
I like it, Seth. I think the thing is, anytime Baker gets hot, it's hard to slow him down, right? And this is his first. This is like he had a huge first game, so I think this one's going to be good. Jordan, Trent, anything you guys want to add in here?
Yeah, no, I really like this game. I would assume this will be a game that I have a ton of in just a ton of action in this week. We got a super high score game. So the Buccaneers could be down like 4 pieces of their secondary this week. There's a bunch of guys hurt in the secondary. So like I think we get a big Amon-Ra St. Brown bounce back. He played like 98% snaps, 66% of those snaps out of the slot. So I mean, it's not like he wasn't out there. He was out there the whole entire game. I feel like St. Brown's kind of going to get a little bit of a bounce back game this week, the squeaky wheel narrative a little bit. Jameson Williams, man, he was the breakout of the week. Looked really, really good last week. I think he can do the same thing again to this Buccaneers defense, which I think is worse than what the Commanders, the Commanders didn't exploit it, I don't think like they should have last week. So, and then on the Buccaneers side, like Evans is awesome. Godwin's really good. I really like Jalen McMillan as well in this spot. Like you're probably not playing him in season long, but he looked really good. I wouldn't mind seeing what his prop comes out at. But this Lions defense was not good. Like their secondary is bad. Cooper Kupp shredded him. Tyler Johnson shredded him. So I really like the passing games here. I like both sides of the passing games. Because like I said, I think that Tampa Bay secondary is not very good, missing like possibly 4 starters. So I think this is a shootout both ways, a lot of passing both ways. I think your running backs are fine. Like you're playing Kyron, you're playing Rachaad White for all like the Bucky Irving stuff. And I get he did look good in his opportunities. Rachaad White still played 70% snaps. So, and was the passing down back, had like 5 or 6 catches.
He looked great.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Kyron. Sorry, excuse me. I pulled the Trent there for a moment. But the Detroit running back. Sorry, this Rams game, Detroit game. But the Gibbs, Montgomery, all your running backs
Probably
here,
more of a
Rachaad
Gibbs
White.
game,
So
though.
yeah, you know what though? The Lions, man, if they get up in this game, they're gonna run the ball. That's what they showed.
Yeah.
They showed they want to run. So I like everyone in this game. I think all the pieces are really good. I think there's some secondary pieces. Trent, are you starting Jameson Williams?
Oh man, it's hard not to, right? Like I think he's kind of, I put him as a number one waiver wire ad. Sleeper was kind of all over the place over the weekend on rostership on him. Like it was 62%. And by the time I put the tweet out, he was 77. Like I just think they're kind of catching up over the weekend. So I'm not sure what his rostership was over the weekend, but yeah, I would play him in this game. Sorry, I had to take a phone call there. I'm not sure what all I missed, but I think Baker's going to keep him in this. Like you saw what Baker said today. He said, if Mike Evans is one-on-one coverage, I'm throwing him the ball. Like he's just a cheat code. I have to do it. And I think that's good for fantasy football. You're going to get some picks out of that. I like what I saw out of the Bucks. I think the Commanders aren't good, right? But I do like this game. This is the matchup I'm most excited for this week. I'm streaming Baker Mayfield. I think you can play Jameson Williams. Maybe you've talked about this. I've had a lot of people reach out about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like people are kind of freaking out. Like,
no,
what do we do with Amon-Ra St. Brown?
We talked about it. He played 98%
I think you have
snaps.
to play him. I think he's still good.
He's fine.
No,
yeah,
100%, 100%. And like Trent, I don't know if you heard this, but Buccaneers might be missing up to 4 starters in the secondary. So they could be down a lot of guys.
So it should be a shootout, or they're going to be scored on. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, like if this game busts, I'm probably gonna be unhappy again on Sunday night of week 2. But I could probably live with that. So
hey, I think
no, the whole I like this one. I'm bummed I had a phone call on there, but Baker, Mike Evans. I think you can play Godwin. Did you talk about that too? Like Godwin looked pretty good.
You play everyone.
I think
you just play everyone in this game. I think the fringe
guys,
like
especially with Bucks defense banged up.
Yeah, I think a fringe guys like Jalen McMillan. I don't know if you're playing him, but I think he's someone to keep on the radar. If this Bucks offense is legit, he's the clear wide receiver 3. I think McMillan played. Let me pull this up. McMillan played 83% of the snaps.
That's pretty good.
He was the leading snap getter for the offense. He outsnapped Evans and Godwin. He's the clear number 3 guy, number 3 receiver there.
Yeah. And it's if they can protect Baker with a clean, he had a great rating on PFF with the passer rating, with a clean pocket this past week. And Seth, people are saying like Baker Mayfield, maybe not a sleeper. On PFF, he's ranked QB 17. I feel like that's very underrated for what I think he's going to finish top 10 again this week. I have Jordan Love. I'm playing Baker Mayfield. Like the Jordan Love stuff's tough, but I'm going to go. This is at home for the Lions. Lions just beat them in playoffs. I got to go Lions winning this one again. I just think they're too good on offense, too many weapons, whether it's Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That was the one right there, Jordan. Fantasy Dad asked me this one too. Would you trade AJ Brown for Amon-Ra St. Brown straight across? He has Amon-Ra, or he has AJ Brown. Would you trade him for Amon-Ra?
Yeah. Nah,
you would. You take him for Amon-Ra? You trade AJ?
No, you know what?
I think it's a dice roll.
He has Sam Laporta too. I said, hey, I think your Lion's heart is just
no.
I think you're just getting too many Lions.
No.
Yeah, that's Laporta, so I'm going Detroit. The Electric City. Phil, what are you doing?
I have Detroit.
I ride with Detroit. You know that.
Yeah, I'm going Lions for sure.
All righty.
This is kind of a deal where Lions fans get mad at us when we all 4 pick them. It's just how it goes.
It's usually just me. But we have the Rams versus the Cardinals. Current total right now, 49.5. Cardinals favored by 1. Jordan, you have a sleeper. Seth, you have a start. Let's go Seth start first, and then Jordan, you can back clean up there.
Yeah. So if we look at James Conner last week, had a pretty good game all around. I think he had 88 or 83 total yards. 16 carries, 50 yards, a touchdown. So not very good yards per carry, but a lot of volume. I believe at the very beginning of the game, he had like the first 5 plays he touched the ball. Also had 4 targets, 3 receptions for 33 yards. So got some PPR points if you're playing in PPR leagues. And so the end of the day, half point is 17.8. So that's a great for where you got him round value. If we look at what Montgomery and Gibbs did to the Rams last week, Montgomery had 91, a touchdown, and Gibbs had 40 and also had 4 catches for 34 yards. So I think James Conner, who really played 67% of snaps, I think he could play more because I think this game's going to be closer. He's going to play a lot in this game. I think this is an easy smash start for him. I believe he ranked RB 11. I think he can finish RB 5 this week. I think there's a chance he gets for sure a touchdown. I think he can get 2, unless Kyler Murray snakes both of them. So there's a start right there.
That's a possibility that he snakes him. That's for sure. I'm excited for this one too. Jordan, you have a sleeper in this game?
Yeah, real quick. I don't think this is a Sunday night game, Phil. I think you said that, but I think this is just a regular game, regular afternoon game. Yeah, so my sleeper is I got Tyler Johnson in this game. We got a 48.5 total. That's what I have. I don't know if it's moved up or down. I wasn't really listening to Phil talk there. 48.5 total is what I have. So a high total, almost a 50 total. The Rams should pass a lot in this game. The Cardinals should pass a good amount too. I think it's going to force the Rams to play fast here, a little up tempo. Stafford looked really good last week when he was able to kind of stay clean in the pocket. Puka's out. Tyler Johnson was a direct fill-in last week. I've seen Tyler Johnson ranked as like on some places like wide receiver 60, like the last person they rank. He had 7 targets week 1 when Puka went out, 5 catches, 79 yards. Looked really good to me. Like kind of came out of nowhere too. Like a lot of people thought like Tutu Atwell or Jordan Whittington were going to be the wide receiver 3 there, but it was Tyler Johnson. You tell Stafford really trusted him. He was throwing to him early and often once Puka went down. So I just think, and with this total on a Rams offense that I think will pass the ball, Kyron's going to do his thing, but I think they're going to have to pass the ball. You're basically looking at the wide receiver 2 in that offense. So I think in a 48.5 total, I think where you can get him, like, or how you like, he's just a really good, I think he's a good sleeper play. Like, I'm not saying as good as my Jameson Williams call from last week, but I think he's going to be solid. I think he can get you 10 points this week, especially in PPR.
What do you think about DeMarcus Robinson, Jordan? Because he had 7 targets in that Lions game, and he caught 4 of them for 42 yards. And
I think he's fine. Yeah, so he's the wide receiver 2-3. Like
There's also Atwell.
Yeah, but Atwell didn't play last week. So last week it was Kupp played 100% of the snaps, Robinson 92%, Johnson 65%, Puka 32%. I think I'd even put Tutu on my sheet. I think he played like less than 10% snaps. So basically didn't play.
I wanted Tutu to be good.
I mean, but you have Tyler
like
Johnson
a year ago
and DeMarcus Robinson on the out wide, Kupp in the slot. I personally just think Tyler Johnson might be a little more dynamic than Robinson. Robinson's probably a little safer, but I think Tyler Johnson's a little more upside. And when you're talking sleeper, you want upside. So, and also DeMarcus Robinson is ranked a little higher in most places.
Can I add?
That's fair.
Jordan,
go Phil.
What are you thinking about? So we have a couple, obviously here. We have Marvin Harrison. Didn't have a great week last week, right? Literally had 1.4 fantasy points, 3 targets, 1 reception, 0 TDs, of course. Right now, his sleeper line for anytime TV, obviously it's 0.5, so 1 TD, 57.5 receiving yards, 59 rush plus receiving yards. What do you think about those there? Do you like any of those?
Off the top of my head, I like his over on receiving yards. I might just stay away this week with them just to kind of see what happens. But I will say, Marvin Harrison played. Let's see how many he played. Sorry, let me look this up. He played 75% of his snaps were out wide. You know who also played most of their snaps out wide against the Rams last week? Jameson Williams. So, like, if Jameson Williams can do that from the out wide against that secondary, I mean, it might be, the next Ohio State the former Ohio State wide receiver, Jameson Williams, in Alabama. But like Marvin Harrison could get his coming out party against the Rams here. So I do think, if Jameson Williams can take him deep a couple times, I do think that Marvin Harrison can do the same. So I don't know, though. I might stay away. We'll see. It's a good spot for him, though.
No, I just think it's going to be a big week for him. Like with a week, like his coming out party that was supposed to be last week, I think that there's no way that he doesn't get way more than 3 targets this week. Playing 90%.
I think they're going to try to get him the ball.
Correct. Like I think he is going to feast, which is why I would be probably totally fine with his over on the reception yards this week.
I do think game script kind of hurt him last week too. They were up.
He was
early,
wide open on that one play. He was wide open for a touchdown that one play, and Kyler didn't throw him the ball. Jordan, I didn't make it my sleeper. I kind of like Greg Dortch in this game. He had 8 targets last week. A little guy, 5'7", Greg Dortch. He had 8 targets, 6 receptions for 47 yards last week, 61% of the snap percentage. Michael Wilson too, but like you're right. Marvin Harrison could be good. Yeah. So
my only concern there, Trent, is the Rams did shut down Monterey St. Brown and Laporta, who played most of their percentage of snaps out of the slot. So, or a good chunk of them. So it does concern me a little bit for, that could be a variety of things, right? It's 1 week sample size. I don't know too much, it's hard to take away from 1 week's worth of stuff.
Yeah.
But they did Monterey St. Brown didn't do much. So.
Yeah. Need Trey McBride to have a comeback game here, and Laporta. We didn't talk about that, but there was only 8 points separated from the number 5 tight end last week and the number 30 tight end. So like it was just complete. If you didn't have Isaiah Likely, you really weren't that happy. Like Derek Carr had 2 of the top tight ends last week. So this game, I like Connor. I think he played both running backs. Both quarterbacks are in a position to do good. Should be a good offensive game here. I think we've kind of covered. I like Colby Parkinson again too, Jordan, especially with Puka out. He
played a lot of
targets.
snaps.
He played a lot of snaps. So like, if you're somebody frustrated with your tight ends, I'm not saying drop Trey McBride for Colby Parkinson, but if you have someone you're not super happy with, like maybe Jake Ferguson injury, I don't hate Colby Parkinson as a waiver wire ad.
Injury.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to say Cardinals win this one. I'm high on the Cardinals. It's at home. Man, it's hard to see Stafford starting out 0-2. I'm going to go Cardinals win this one, the upset. Or the Cardinals are the favors, actually. Favorite by 1.
Yeah.
Anyone else going Cards? Jordan loves Sean McVay, though.
He does love Sean McVay. I forgot about that. I am going with Sean McVay and the Rams, baby. Costy?
I'm gonna go Rams.
Rams. All right.
Rams house.
It is a good one. All right. Moving on to a pretty big matchup here. We have the Bengals at Chiefs in Arrowhead. Current total right now is 47.5. KC currently favored by 5.5 at home. As much as it pains me to say it, they looked pretty darn good last Thursday, Jordo. I'm going to go out and just say the Chiefs win this one. I texted everybody. I've been saying this. The Bengals always start slow. They always start like 1-3, 1-4, and then rattle off like 6 or 7 wins. So I would not be surprised if they lose this one. We actually don't have any starts or sits in this game, but anything you guys want to add here?
T. Higgins, we don't know his availability yet. So I'll be interested to see Yoshi. I don't know. I call him Yoshi. Iovesis or whatever. He played 100% snaps last week. Jamar Chase ended up playing 84% of the snaps last week, so pretty much his full go. I don't know. I don't really. This game is not complicated for me. You're playing Jamar Chase. If T. Higgins is out and you need to place a receiver, I think Yoshi's fine. I guess you're playing Burrow. The line for the Bengals kind of scares me. Burrow didn't really have much time. And then on the Chiefs side, just play him. Kelsey, Worthy, Rice, Pacheco.
Bounce back game for Kelsey, I think. I think Kelsey scores a TD this week.
The only thing I could say is that I could see Kelsey just kind of cruising in cruise control. He was out there. He played a lot of snaps. They also played a lot of
Yeah.
two tight end snaps with Seth, Noah Gray, but like I could see him in cruise control for the first part of the year. Let the young receivers do their thing, and then as we get to go time, he starts turning it up a little bit. That wouldn't surprise me if that's how the first 6 to 8 weeks go for Travis Kelce, because of how much weapons Mahomes has now. I don't know if he feels the pressure to do as much early on.
Does he also just maybe want to win a Super Bowl? Like, and not like the offense doesn't need to be schemed around him anymore.
No.
Like, I think he's just like, let's go win a third Super Bowl. I don't care how it gets done. Like that, he might be.
Yeah,
there. But he got paid. Like,
what
we
I'm
all know
saying,
he's not going to probably sign another contract extension.
Yeah. What I'm saying, though, is he called the mayor of Cincinnati a jabroni last time they played. Like, he hates the Burrowhead talk, all that stuff. If the Bengals come out swinging, Kelce might have a big game. He might want to take over. Like, he hates him. They hate him. I just don't know if the Bengals can push the Chiefs to the limits. They did not look good. Burrow, they made a big deal about it. Burrow said he didn't see the video. He tries to pick up that bottle of water, that Gatorade bottle,
Oh, yeah.
the green bottles they have, and he's like struggling to squeeze it with his throwing hand. Like, I don't want to look too much into it. He's saying it's not a big deal, but it didn't look like his wrist felt exactly right. And I heard something too. Like, when you have that injury, you kind of have to change your throwing motion a little bit. I'm not a doctor. That stuff doesn't make sense to me, but I'm wondering if that's a little bit of the side effects of that. Jamar Chase not really practicing. So there's a lot of question marks in Cincinnati. I'll say at the moment. So
I hurt my wrist doing pull-ups. It's a well-known fact here on the podcast. I know that I'm not slinging a football 60 yards, after my injury. And so
pre pull up, were you slinging a ball 60 yards? Were you slinging a baseball 60 yards pre pull up? Like, let's be real here.
It's yet to be seen. Like, I can't recall how far I was able to sling it. So there's a possibility that the answer is yes. I didn't pick up a football before or after, and same thing with a baseball. I feel like, Seth, how hard is it to throw a baseball 60 yards? I feel like it's not terrible, right?
It's easy.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
For me, but I don't know.
How far would you say from like home plate to middle of left field, maybe?
The middle of left field? Well, I mean, if you're talking high school fence, it's 320 from home to the fence. So
do some rough math for me.
So divide that by 3. I don't know what that is. 120 yards.
Phil, I don't know if you could throw a whistling Nerf ball 60 yards, let alone a baseball.
5 yards.
Yeah, so I wasn't wrong. I wasn't too far off.
It's like 100 yards. I mean,
I will say, can I let it roll, or is it has to be in flight, Trent?
No, you cannot let it roll.
No, I'm talking about a baseball set.
Okay. What are we thinking about Chase Brown? We playing Chase Brown? You want to wait and see it with Zach Moss? Okay. You're firing up Pacheco. Yeah.
Just play them all, Trent.
I'm going Chiefs. I'm going Chiefs here. Anyone going Bengals?
No.
Chase Brown, little known fact, third cousin to Zach Brown band. So interesting fact there. I am going Chiefs. All right, this is stupid.
That was just, I know you just made that up, but go right ahead.
All right. The next game that we have is Falcons at Eagles. Current total right now is 47.5. Philly is favored by 6.5. Trent, you have a sit in this game, but darn, Kirk Cousins looked like just terrible last week, right?
He looked bad, Phil. He looked really bad. That's the only way I can say it. That's the nicest way I can say it.
Bring back Marcus Mariota at that point.
So I was listening to some guys today. They said Kirk Cousins, they didn't do one play action pass the whole entire game. They're running everything out of shotgun and pistol. I really don't like playing anyone on the Falcons side of the ball except Bijan Robinson this game. I don't want to play Drake London until I absolutely see something out of Kirk Cousins. He didn't look good. And this is a primetime game. Is this Monday Night Football? I believe this is Monday Night Football. So
I think
I'm staying away from the Kirk Cousins, primetime game is partly, and then he just doesn't look mobile enough. He made that one good play to Kyle Pitts, but it doesn't look like his Achilles is quite there right now. So I kind of want to wait and see with everyone else on that team except Drake London. And you got him in a spot where you can't really sit him, but I have no problem sitting Drake London this week and not playing him to see it, just to see how it is with Kirk Cousins. I don't know. You're probably thinking you got to play him, Jordan, but Kurt just did not look good. He did not look mobile. He looks, I don't know. I just don't think he's 100% yet.
Well, it's tough because like it's a really good spot for Drake London, right? This Eagles secondary is not very good. They got torched by the Packers receivers last week. But Kirk Cousins looked horrible. The offensive line looked horrible. Every time that game was on the red zone or had it on, he had no time. Like he was getting sacked or he was just it was brutal to watch. I was a huge Drake London guy coming in this year, so not a very good week one. But it's a really good matchup, so I don't know. It's tough to like not. It's tough. I see it both ways.
It's got to be rough as a Falcons organization to be. So they paid Cousins a decent amount. He's an injured QB. They're going to get in trouble for interference for negotiating contracts or starting talks before they were actually able to because of Kirk Cousins. They drafted a QB and then Kirk Cousins just looks terrible his first week playing. Like it's just not, it feels like it probably doesn't feel great.
And you have a really good running back and a really good receiver and a really good tight end and you still suck.
Yeah, it's got to feel like that's such a great point, Seth. It's just got to feel
it's going
to
turn around, right? I think Drake London is not a lost hope yet. Honestly, if there's 3 bad weeks in a row, it might be.
Well, he played every snap of the game.
He's got to get the ball. They have to scheme him to get the ball. Yeah,
he's going.
And Trent's right. Like maybe it's a little bit of coaching. Like you're not running play action with Bijan. Like what are you doing?
It's because
I don't think Kirk Cousins can do it. I don't think he can do it, Seth.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. So
Bijan,
that's my worry.
Encouraging for Bijan played 90% of the snaps for Bijan. That's got to be encouraging for Bijan owners after what they had to deal with last year. So 90% snaps. That's the good thing. Kyle Pitts played. This is all I'll say about the Falcons. Kyle Pitts played basically the whole entire game. Bijan basically played the whole entire game. Drake London played the whole entire game. They're out there. It's kind of on Kirk Cousins. Like coaching's not going to be the problem this year. The guys are out there. They're playing. Yeah. You just got to get in the ball.
Bijan had more targets than Drake London. Bijan went 5 for 5 for 43 yards. Drake London that kind of makes 3 targets. He got 2. Yeah.
Their O-line kind of sucked. But like, there's a lot of pressure. He just dumping it off.
Here's the other thing that you probably like. Kyle Pitts didn't have his first touchdown until week 6 last year. He gets his first touchdown in week 1. Like who knows? I'm just go to say, Jordan, like what you're saying is accurate. Like the guys are out there, they're going to be going after him, but like, can they actually make it happen? Trent, I think there's a little bit of a delay on your side. So I'm sorry for interrupting you there. Maybe it's on my side potentially.
No, it could be on my side. No. Yeah. So fire up your Bijan and like pistol in the NFL with a non-mobile quarterback. You don't see that a ton. I don't think so.
You don't see pistol a lot in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
On the Eagles side, Trent, it's just the 3 studs: Devontae, AJ Brown, Hurts. One note on Devontae: there's a lot of talk about him playing the slot. He pretty much played in the slot most of the game, so that's good to see from Devontae because I think he'll be a lot more effective out of the slot.
Tay.
Yeah. And
I got the
Jalen Hurts. Is it all right? Yeah. RIP tush push. It's just all Saquon Barkley now, 3 TDs. I ran into the Xavier Worthy, Jaden Reed, Saquon Barkley, 3-head monster in 2 leagues. So it's like my fantasy week was over before Saturday morning. So it was great. I'm going Eagles. Everybody going Eagles here?
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna go a little crazy here. I'm going Falcons.
I went Eagles.
All right, moving along here. The next game that we have up here, boys, is Saints versus Cowboys. Current total right now is 46.5. Dallas is currently favored by 6.5. Trent, how you feeling? I'm gonna let you talk about this one since these are dem boys, as you guys call it.
trying to temper my expectations here. You know, defense looked good, but it was Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson did not look good. I don't think Mike Zimmer's that good of a coach. They just made Deshaun Watson just miss all those throws like that. I know his dad died last week and he has another thing opening up. So maybe his head's just in a completely different place, but happy with what I saw to beat a bad team like that. I think you can play Brandon Cooks on the Dallas side with Ferguson out. I think you can play Schoonmaker's their backup tight end. And Dak does like going to his tight end. So I do like Schoonmaker and CD, of course. So, but I think Cooks could be in line for some more stuff. I don't Saints side. I think Cowboys win this game, but Saints side, is Olave finally have a good game? Or, you feel better about Rashid Shaheed, Jordan? Like, Carr had a good game and didn't even use his number one.
Yeah, but that's a weird game because they were up so many points and it's hard. They didn't really need to pass the end of the day. So Kamara, Olave is the two Saints that I'm going to look to play. Again, CD, I guess Cooks, I don't really trust him, with the running backs.
Yeah, that's more of like a sleeper deep play. I almost made Cooks my sleeper, but he was like 35, 33-ish. It's just, I think he might get a little more targets with Ferguson out.
Yeah.
And Zeke, I think you can play Zeke. I think Zeke falls in the end zone again.
See, I disagree there, but I mean, it's always a tough New Orleans run defense. And so I don't know. I don't trust the running backs at all. They pretty much a 50-50 split. Zeke fell in the end zone. Daddle didn't. So,
yeah. I just think Zeke's going to be the red zone guy. So, like, if you're going to bet on one falling in the end zone, I feel like it's Zeke. But I'm not playing Daddle in any leagues this week. I'm kind of just waiting and seeing what happens. Anything else you guys want to add here on this game? It's Seth. You have anything you want to input here, or you mad at Dallas or something? I don't know. You mad at my hat? You're on mute, buddy.
Yep, I just realized that. I just think it's a Dallas route. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. I don't know. The Saints look good, but I mean, the team they played last week was absolute dog. So I think it's Cowboys all the way here.
No interest in playing Derek Carr in this game, right? No one's getting that crazy.
No, absolutely not.
I have a crazy quarterback sleeper later in this show, but I'm not gonna do it now. But it looks like Saints are kind of.
If you say Bryce Young, I'm gonna kick you off your own podcast, Trent.
No. I gotta wait. I could see him
going. I could see him going that way, Jordan. I could see him.
I know, so could I.
And
Phil, are you taking the Cowboys?
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys.
I can see him
just completely ruining our credibility online. All right, moving on here. We have the Niners at the Vikings. Current total is 46.5. In Minnesota, coming off a Minnesota win, Niners are favored by 6.5. Trent, is this the Sam Darnold revenge game?
Sam Darnold revenge game? I forgot to put that in the notes. You remembered that on your own, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, big win.
What did he do? He started out last week as 10 for 10 passing, got Jefferson involved, got some guys involved. I think Darnold might be in a decent scheme now. I don't love him in this matchup against the 49ers. I think everyone's biggest question is CMC said he's going to play. This is Wednesday. Who knows if that actually happens?
Unlikely he plays.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
So if you can get Mason, get him.
Quote, I think he's trying.
What would you say to the guys who didn't have Mason as a handcuff?
I don't know. I don't know why you didn't grab him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine his rostership was that high going into the year, but
usually if he got not drafted in our Sunday morning, it's an immediate grab. You should be able to grab him immediately.
He got drafted. He got drafted in our league, Jordan, like kind of early.
I don't know why that's not like something you just don't grab late rounds. Like just especially if you have CMC and his in the late rounds, you're drafting guys who I don't even know some of those guys. I could read their names entirely, right? Like
CMC also has he
Yeah.
has a calf injury history. Like that calf's been bothering him his whole career.
And that's
the
what
Are
I'm
you
saying.
guys just saying this because you know I have him and I don't have him handcuffed? Is that the only reason you guys are bringing this up?
I didn't realize that, but it doesn't surprise me that you didn't actually do that. Did someone snag him before you?
Yeah, someone snagged him. Yeah.
Oh
he
no,
got
you said he got
drafted.
drafted. You said he got drafted. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he
Um,
got drafted. So
Yeah, I
Go
mean,
ahead, Jordan.
Mason's an auto start. CMC's out, and then like I think it's Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. On the other side of the game, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones. That's pretty much it. Like this game's pretty simple, cut and dry for me. You just play your guys, kind of move
Yeah.
on. No really
hope
French
Ayuk
guys
catches
here.
those passes this week. Yeah. Hopefully Ayuk's a little bit more dialed in. Yeah, I'm gonna go Niners. Anyone going against the Niners on this?
No.
I got
And one thing
Niners.
too, Addison did not practice as of Wednesday.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
don't
one
think
thing
he
to monitor
plays.
too. I don't think it. Yeah. So I think this helps out Jefferson for sure.
Can he not? I thought he couldn't play the first game anyway. The first 6 games.
He
anyways.
was not
No,
suspended.
no, he
Addison
played
played last week.
Hey, you know what? My
Yeah.
apologies. I'm going off of incorrect information, and that's my
It
bad.
just no. We only
It's on
argued
brand.
about this on our Thursday night football party for about 15 minutes. So then someone finally just grabbed their phone and figured it out. So thanks for whoever did that. But all right.
I might have
what do
been
we got
using the
next, Phil?
restroom. All right. Moving on here. We have the Bears at Texans.
Sunday night.
Sunday night game. Current total right now is 45.5. Houston favored by 6.5, coming off a Caleb Williams win, but that win was basically overshadowed by the 2 TDs the defenses scored in that game. At least 2 TDs. It may have been one more. I think it was just 2 though. So yeah, what do you guys?
Arms in the air, knees on the ground.
Yeah, dude.
That was like
picked up-
that was like it was a throw that like a peewee kid does. Like they're falling
Oh,
down and
yeah.
they just throw the ball underhand. Like I don't know why he did. The coach came out and said if we would have punted on first down every drive, we probably would have won the game.
No, they would have.
Defense was playing good. Defense was playing good. Do we get a bounce back DJ Moore game, Jordan? You know, like
I mean, he had a
Odunze's
good amount of
out.
targets last week. Adunze's out. I
we
think
just need
DJ
Caleb
Moore's
to play
fine.
better.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had 96 yards passing or something stupid like that. When the last time the guy had 96 yards? Never probably in his life, right?
Freshman in high school, maybe.
Maybe like
There's no way. There's no way he
Yeah.
ever had nine less than 100 yards passing in a game.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Wasn't good.
I don't. I like all the Texans here. I think Joe Mixon's in a really good spot. Dude, the guy had 30 carries last week. It's insane how many touches he got. The receiver situation didn't really do anything for me. Like Nico Collins looked good. Diggs had a lot of like low
Red zone.
A-dot catches, in the red zone, but like nothing really deep. Tank Dell, I guess is fine, So the receiver is not a clarity for me. My guess is Nico Collins is the one there, and then it's either Diggs or Dell as the 2 and 3. On the Bears side, like I think it's DJ, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift is fine, I think. But yeah, I like Mixon a lot.
Swift was
And
rough
then I
last
like-
week too.
Yeah, but he was
Yeah.
out there. He played. The snaps were there. Touches were kind
Yeah.
of there. That's also a weird game script for him because they got down so early, right? So,
Yeah.
no.
Would
yeah,
you
I
play
like,
DeAndre Swift? If Jeff Wilson, we find out Jeff Wilson's playing on Thursday Night
DeAndre
Football, would
Swift.
you start him? He'd start Swift still? Okay.
You're saying if A-Chain's out?
All right. If A-Chain's out, Jeff Wilson has the backfield to himself, would you start him over?
He doesn't, though, because Jalen Wright's going to
Swift?
play, and I'm a big Jalen Wright guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So,
All right.
J Ray.
I'm going Texans here. Fire him up. Mixon, I think, they're treating him like the bell cow. He might have been, that's one of the top best ADP picks probably this year. As of right now, it's a long season. You can't, a lot of people like to take their fancy victory lap.
there might
after
be another
week
running
one.
back. There might be another running back that's better than him.
Yeah. But
I'll get
as
to
of
him
week
later.
one, he had a pretty good pretty good showing. I'm going Texans. Anyone going against the Texans?
No
Nope.
way.
No, I got Texans. They're my
Jordan,
survivor
wait.
pick this week too.
I was kind of thinking Texans might be my survivor pick too, but it'd be a shame if we both went down the same week, Jordan. Then we wouldn't have anything to do there. All right, Phil.
Or
What do you got next, Phil?
Next, we have Giants at Commanders. Current total right now is 44.5. Washington currently favored by 1.5. We have no starts, no sits in this game. This might be a knife fight. Like, what do you guys think about this one?
Giants are bad. They're a
Jaden,
bad football team.
Giants are bad. Yeah,
Jaden Daniels
All
didn't
those
look great
fans-
throwing the ball. What were you gonna say? Sorry,
he
Trent.
ran.
No, he
just
didn't look great throwing the
Daniel
ball.
Jones
but
has
he,
fans waiting for him.
yeah. But Daniels, man, he looked good with his legs. Looked electric with his legs. I think the throwing will be easier this week. Like I said, I think this Giants team is really bad. So I like Daniels. I think he's going to run a little bit. I think he's going to throw the ball a little bit better. I think Terry McLaurin, I mean, maybe you wait and see, but I also think there's not going to be a better matchup out there for him than this porous, just horrible Giants team. So that's kind of it. I think maybe it's more of a Robinson game than an Eckler game, but it's pretty much 50-50 split
Robinson
there.
looked good.
See, I don't know. I didn't really see.
Did he have a 60-yard run though?
No.
He had one really big run. Both guys look good. I thought Robinson had a big catch or a big run, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think he might have had one catch that kind of went. I might have got called back. I don't know. Eckler looked good catching the ball out of the backfield. So, and then on the Giants side, just Neighbors, Singletary, Singletary, Neighbors. I think Neighbors is a stud, man. So I'm just gonna as bad as Daniel Jones is, this Washington secondary might be one of the worst in the league too. So I think Neighbors is good this week.
Ugliest stream of all time, deep league. You had Jordan Love. You didn't get anything in waivers.
Oh
no, I'm
You're
Daniel
not,
Jones
Trent.
at quarterback.
Trent,
Oh,
don't do it. I'm
Commanders
gonna
are terrible.
Trent, don't do it. I told you I could kick you off your own podcast if you gave me someone like that.
No, but it's absolutely the Commanders are terrible on defense. Even if he just runs around, I'm not a Daniel Jones guy. I don't think he's that good. But is this a matchup where it's he just runs around with his legs, starts chucking, YOLO balls to Neighbors? I don't know. I don't love it. I'm not really deep leagues. Maybe it's only in those 32-man leagues.
You're talking you're in a super flex league and Jordan Love got hurt, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and you need a guy. Yeah, deep league. Yeah.
So wait, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? How many points do you think Daniel Jones gets, Trent?
Do you think
10?
he can get over 15 points against the Commanders?
Yeah,
he can run. He can run. He's not a terrible runner. His team is terrible though, but his offensive line though, even on PFF got graded well last week is what you kind of have to remember. So it's
people are calling for DeVito.
I know.
No, it's Drew Lock.
So...
Drew Lock's the backup.
Oh, you're right. Well, where is DeVito there anymore?
Yeah, he's third string.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Washington wins this game. I think we get a decent Terry McLaurin game, big Jaden Daniels game.
I hope so.
I'm with you. I'm
tired
saying
of talking.
Washington.
I'm tired of talking, McLaurin up from to do absolutely zilch. So that'd be great if he figured it out this week, or Daniels or whoever it is. But yeah, I'm gonna go. What's the line here? 1.5 Washington in Washington.
Yeah, 1.5 Washington in Washington.
I'm gonna go Washington. They just seem more exciting. I'm going Washington. Seth, what do you think?
I'm gonna go Commanders here. I don't think the Giants are any good.
All right, let's go to the next one, Phil.
Does Seth strike you as a guy who would do some of those Spartan fun runs? Like every time I see Seth, I
Yes.
always want to ask, like, do you do fun runs? Like, do you do like the Spartan
Yeah.
races? Seth, have you ever felt
Yeah.
inclined to do a Spartan race?
No,
I
I don't
just
really
feel
want
like
to crawl through mud and get electrocuted. I don't really know if that
I
doesn't
just
really.
feel like you give off those vibes though. Like you
I
drink
feel like
liquid
it could be
death.
fun, but like I don't know. I don't feel like it's. Is it rewarding? I don't know. I think it's more rewarding to I don't know do a race or something. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
You
I'd
mean
rather
like
go
a
to
run like a
Comic
half
Con.
marathon?
Yeah, according to Trent, I'd rather go to like Anime Fest or something, which I
Yeah.
don't watch at all. But
It's not what the people on Instagram think.
Which and here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Wonder
We wouldn't
why.
hold it. We don't hold it against you that you do. That's the other thing. We accept you. We
Yeah.
like you. We think you're a good guy. I have more of a problem that you drink liquid death. I think that's kind of lame. Not you,
Yeah.
just the
I don't know.
beverage.
I don't know. Seth came to Halloween last year dressed up as Team Rocket from Pokemon, yet he doesn't watch anime. I don't think anyone really believes him. So, Phil, what do we got next?
All right. Up here next, we have the Raiders at Ravens. Current total right now is 41.5. Baltimore is favored by 8.5 at home. Seth, speaking of, you have a sit in this game. I'm going to pass it over to you, sir. Liquid Death, my boy, Spartan race guy, anime dude. Go ahead.
Okay,
Ash
so
Ketchum.
yeah, Zamir White. I was kind of high on him at the beginning of the year. I still think he's okay, but against Baltimore, it's a guy you just don't. No way you want to play him here. If the Raiders are down in games, his snap percentage, or it wasn't even they were down. If it's like kind of close or they can't run, he doesn't play. So 38% snaps last week, 13 carries, 44 yards. So if he's in the game, he's getting the ball. Okay. But then we go to Alexander Madison, the receiving back, 60% of snaps, 5 attempts, 19 yards. Terrible also. But 6 targets, 4 catches, 43 yards. Pacheco didn't do much against them last week either, 15 for 45. I'm just staying away from Zamir White here. If you drafted him, I think this is actually a guy you drafted as a starting running back you have in your flex or your RB2. I seriously think you pick up somebody else to start here. It's just something you stay away from this game. He's not going to get receiving work. I think really if you have to, grab Madison and play him over Zamir White in this game. I don't have reason to play him at all.
So Madison, I thought Madison actually looked better last week, but we've all seen what Madison does when he has the leading role all to himself. It just doesn't seem to last. Like he almost has to be like that change of pace back or something. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the Ravens, they're tough up front. I don't want to run against them. I'm still holding out for Zamir White to be okay, but he did not look great against the Chargers. And maybe it's just the passing game needs to get going a little bit more to open up the running game. Like, what do you think? Like, Raiders looked rough on offense.
He also didn't play, Trent. He only played 38% snaps. So that's
Yeah,
probably
he
a
had
product
13
of
carries though.
Yeah, it's a product of
behind.
falling behind. The problem is their team's not very good, so they're always going to be behind. So
Yeah.
I don't know. On the ball, I really on the Raiders side is Devontae, Brock Bowers for me. Those two guys. Brock Bowers I thought looked pretty good. On the Ravens side, I think Zay you're playing, Lamar you're playing. I really like Derrick Henry in this spot. We saw what the Chargers did. So I really like Derrick Henry in this spot. Chargers running backs went off. I think Henry bust off a long touchdown run in this game. And then likely Andrews, what are you doing there? That's my biggest question in this game.
Oh man. I did a poll, and if you listen to my waiver show, 60% of voters out of 300 voters on X said you still play Andrews this week. It's probably all the Andrews guys, but I think you can play both. Like Lamar likes throwing the tight ends, and I don't hate playing Likely in this matchup. Are you ready to bench Andrews? I don't think.
No, I was saying
What do
I'm
you
just
think,
looking at
John?
their snaps, and they both played a good amount of slot. Like Andrews plays more in the slot. Likely's split between the slot and the inline. So but likely played 66% snaps. Andrews 74. They're basically just going to play a ton of 2 tight end sets. So they're going to be on the field at the same time. But like likely got 12 targets. Like you can't ignore that. So I don't know. I think they're both playable, I think is what my initial stand is, that they're both in play.
Like likely seemed more like the deep threat than like Zay Flowers. Like he was the guy Lamar was looking for on deep plays and broken plays. Like everything that went to Zay was like a design play. Like I thought Zay was have a good game and he did, but like when you tell me that a guy
Not really,
is going
Trent.
to catch, he had 10 targets for 6 catches for 37 yards. Like
30 yards.
The volume was there. Yeah, the volume was there. Like you tell me a guy's getting 10 targets, you think he probably had a pretty good game, but he finished the night with 8 fantasy points. So his ADOT's got to be one of the lower ones in the league after last week, right? Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
like most of his stuff was like catch and go. Like likely's ADOT seemed way bigger. And Mark Andrews, like, I don't know, he caught that one pass and just fell down. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think he's still a little hurt too.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, dude, what was that? 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago from the first game,
something like that. Yeah, so I'm going Ravens win this one. Fire up Lamar, fire up Henry, fire up tight ends.
Yep, same with me. Baltimore. As much as I'd like the Raiders to win this one, I was a Raider fan at one point. Trent, did you know that about me?
I know that. Yes.
Cool. Yeah. All right, moving on here.
So just like everything else in your life.
It's true. It is true. Although I haven't worn flip-flops in a little while, my back is shockingly feeling a lot better.
Cool.
Maybe helpful for your gout too. Maybe want to give it a try. I will. We are moving on here. Browns, Jags, 41.5. Jacksonville favored by 3.5. People are saying all over X, Jordan, is Trevor Lawrence the biggest bust in recent history outside of Deshaun Watson? What's going on with that? Like, am I just seeing fake news in front of me? Are you feeling that? Are you worried about Trevor Lawrence? I think part of it is his personality is terrible. If he had a little bit more personality, I feel like people would probably like him a little bit more. But he might even play football better if he had a little more personality. But what do you think about the guy?
I mean, he look great in the first half, and then you don't score in the second half. So I don't know.
If I bought you a Trevor Jordan,
no, it's week 1. No one's in the hot seat in week 2. I mean, they competed. Their defense looked great.
No, but like
I'm
saying, like if he doesn't get it done this season, like,
yes, they don't get it done this year. Yeah, they got to get in the playoffs this year for sure. So
the guy I'm worried about on the Jags, is Christian Kirk. Like it's kind of seemed like it was Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas.
Started off slow last year too. He had a couple drops, which is very uncharacteristic for him. I'm not really worried about Kirk. I think they're going to get Kirk the ball this week. I think they're going to find ways to get him the ball. He's their wide receiver 1. Gabe Davis played a ton of snaps. That was surprising to me. ETN, Evan Ingram, I think they're fine. This Browns defense is pretty good though. But like Deshaun Watson's horrible, and if they're not going to be able, the offense can't sustain drives on the field, the defense is going to be out there the whole entire game. So I like the Jaguars. I think Kirk's solid, but I don't love the spot for him. Same with Brian Thomas. It's still Brian Thomas and Christian Kirk over Gabe Davis for me. I think you're playing ETN. I think you're playing Ingram, and then it's Amari Cooper and Jerome Ford on the Brown side, and nobody else.
Yeah. I'm going Jaguars win this game. I don't know if there's something else someone wants to throw in on this game to throw in here.
This game might be as bad as the Giants. The Giants versus who is the Giants playing? I can't even remember now.
Commanders.
Yeah, this might be as bad as the Giants. Would you rather watch? Okay, you only get to watch one game in the weekend, right? You get a bucket of popcorn, maybe some boneless wings. Are you watching Giants, Commanders, or Jags, Browns? Jordan, you don't get to answer this question because your favorite team's the Jags, and so you've lived like this your entire life.
I'm going Jags. Okay. I think that I just think both teams might be better. I'm going to go Jags.
Jags, Seth, what do you think?
What was that? Sorry.
it's not worth repeating the question. I'm going with the Jaguars.
Seth, who do you have to win the game?
I said Jags.
Okay.
All right.
I was
what do we
not
got
listening.
next, Phil?
Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, this is some quality
You turned
pod
your
content
headphones
going
off
on,
when you heard
Seth.
boneless wings.
I'm sure you're probably looking up 12 packs of liquid death. All right, let's move on here. I'm sure they came out with a cool new caffeinated, non-flavored can that you probably are just excited about.
I can't wait to see you walking tomorrow and just throw a baseball at your head.
Good luck. You can't even throw 60 yards. Seth is under caffeinated. He has not slept a lot. The only way that he could do any damage to me is in distance, which is why he's willing to throw that baseball. If he got in close, dude, it would just be body shots dropping this guy, and he knows it. And that's okay.
Aim for your lower back, and you'd be.
Yeah, with a baseball, you can't get in close, dude. You don't want to get in tight with me, dude. I'm like Canelo. I'll literally sit you down, dude.
Can we move on to the next game, please?
Yes, we can move on to the next one.
This guy's got like T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
I'll get inside.
This goes down.
I will get inside.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, cat fight. Okay. Anyways, all right.
Body shots, baby. I'm just gonna get. All right, let's move on. It all started.
Yeah,
Seth started
I
violence.
I don't know what your deal is.
It started with violence about throwing a baseball at me. I'm like, what is going on, dude? Seth's like one of those guys in the turn of the century medieval times. Like he had to be an archer, whereas like I'm down there. I'm like, I'm riding in on a horse with a sword if needed and jumping down into the crew. Seth's over there putting flames on his arrows and shooting them into the group like a sissy.
No, yeah.
All right, let's move on. I'm not before you rebuttal. I'm going
for the king to get off.
You're probably in charge of the stables. You're not riding a horse.
You're a stable boy.
Last night.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you there. We're going too far off. I'm gonna continue to go along here. Seth, keep looking up your 12 pack of liquid death. Trent, shut up. And Jordan, I am coming over to you. Colts versus Packers. Current total is 41.5. Indianapolis is favored by 3. Unfortunately, I do have to come back to you, Seth. Trent. Sleeper. Let's hear it, big guy.
All right, my sleeper here. I got it. How do you say this, Jordan? Is it Adonai Mitchell? Adonai? How am I saying this wrong?
Adonai?
Or AD?
Adonai Mitchell. AD. Yo, AD. All right.
It is a biblical name. It is a biblical name. How do you not know how to pronounce it?
Well, you just told me I don't know how to read. Now you're making fun of me again for not knowing how to read. So anyways.
Hey, that's a good point. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
That was rude.
Thanks, man. I let me just give me some time. I will forgive you, though. Don't worry. He led the team in targets last week. Only caught 1 pass for 2 yards. Richardson missed him on 2 TD passes. If those connect, maybe we're talking about this guy being one of the number 1 waiver wire ads. So I think you could play him boom or this is definitely a boom or bust play here. Lots of you look at the picture here on YouTube, that was a touchdown ball that was overthrown right there. He's wide open. And if he doesn't, if Josh Downs plays, I don't mind him either, but leading the team in targets, and he just was so wide open on those 2 misses that would have been touchdowns. I think if Richardson connects with them, you have a really good game. And Richardson looked really good, I thought, on some of those big throws, even though the Texans beat him. I know everyone on this pod hates Anthony Richardson, though, so I'm not looking for that much support, but was a lot of fun watching play last Sunday, and I think it'll be fun watching play this week too. Anyone else in this game you guys are liking or wanting to play?
Well, I mean, this game's just impossible to is Jordan Love playing? Is he not playing? We don't really know. I tend to think he doesn't play, but I think he wants to play. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. If Love doesn't play and Malik Willis starts, I'm not touching any Packer except for Josh Jacobs.
That's kind of how I feel.
And I like Josh Jacobs because we saw what Joe Mixon did to them, right, in this spot last week. So I do like Josh Jacobs. If Love plays, I think I'm still down on the receivers as a whole just because who knows what Love can do. But I think Josh Jacobs is even better if Love plays. On the Colts side, Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor. I don't love Michael Pittman because you're playing, but you got to have to. The problem is with Michael Pittman is that he does not run the routes that Anthony Richardson can throw the ball to, if that makes sense. Like what Anthony Richardson's good at is that deep ball, right? Like if he hits it, that's what he can throw. The stuff over the middle, the short stuff, the stuff where he has to be accurate, that's not what he's good at. And so, but where you drafted Pittman, you're probably playing him. So,
yep, I had Pittman. I have Pittman, and I'm almost more excited about AD, but you have to play Pittman. And do we want to talk about Malik Willis? Like, I'm sure Jordan, you might have a couple Malik Willis cards that if he takes off, maybe those are worth something. But yeah, I don't think Malik Willis. This could be this total. They're doing this total, assuming Jordan Love doesn't play. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they think he's gonna play.
All right, I'm going Colts win this game with no.
Yeah, I'm going Colts here too.
I got Colts.
I am going Colts as well. All right, moving on here. Jets versus Titans. Current total right now is 40.5. New York is currently favored by 3.5. Man, Aaron Rodgers had like a great first drive. And what happened? Seth, you watch that game at all?
Yeah, I mean, they stopped throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson. And I don't know if it's necessarily Aaron Rodgers' fault completely. I mean, the guy didn't have that much time to throw sometimes. And I don't know. I think you got to give Garrett Wilson another chance here. Give Aaron Rodgers another chance. I think Rodgers he seemed frustrated to me with how maybe the game was going, like how maybe the play calls he was getting. And I don't know. I think we see a little bit of a bounce back here. And I think this is a great way to beat a good team to beat is the Titans. And I think it's a good week to trust in Garrett Wilson. I think if you like his line this week.
Yeah. Fire up Pollard, in my opinion. I think Pollard can have a good game. Like, not what the 49ers running back did last week, but I think Pollard is a guy that can put up some decent numbers. Like, where you got him, you should be happy playing him. Like, he's not going to set the world on fire. I think mid high end RB2 for the week.
Do I get to talk about my sit here, Phil?
I was going to let you talk about it after Seth
Phil.
finished up, but Trent just really kind of interrupted. Jordan,
no, you threw that
in this game. It was a human interest story on what he thought the game went like when Aaron Rodgers first came back. He looked way more mobile than Kirk Cousins, although he heard it way before Kirk Cousins, maybe like 5-6 weeks before Kirk Cousins, looked way more mobile, had a good amount of zip on his ball, good amount of zip and zing, crispness. But anyhow, Jordan,
he had one drive that looked really good when he drove down the field. Then I don't know what happened. Then it was like Alan Lazard was just like his, default there. But yeah, let's go to Jordan sit here.
To Trent's point about Pollard, just real quick, I do think that Pollard is good. They said something about getting Spears more work this week, so we could see more 50-50 with Pollard Spears. But Calvin Ridley is my sit. He has PFF has cornerback wide receiver matchups for every wide receiver, I think, in 3 wide receiver sets that should play. He has the 11th worst matchup against this Jets secondary. Could be Sauce Gardner. I tried to look at last year's Sauce Gardner was mainly on the other side the opposite side of Calvin Ridley, but there was talk of that he would travel more with number ones. I don't know if he traveled much with Ayuk on Monday night. I didn't get to watch much of that game. So, but regardless, it's a really tough secondary, tough matchup for Calvin Ridley, who plays most of his snaps out wide. Also, I just think Will Levis kind of sucks. I'm not a Will Levis guy. And Hopkins barely played last week, and I think we're going to see more Hopkins. So, between more Hopkins playing, a little more volume for him, could be a really bad matchup for Calvin Ridley here. It's going to be a bad matchup for Calvin Ridley. I don't trust Will Levis. So I'm just off Calvin Ridley this week.
I don't. Yeah, Sauce made some nice plays on Ayuk last week.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if he mirrored him the whole time though.
I just
Jet
love
side. You're playing. You just love what?
No. There was a ball that Ayuk like pretty much had in his hands, and Sauce just punched it out. Like his ability to go after the ball is. I mean, obviously everyone knows this, but I just am always impressed with some of the things that he does. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to watch him play.
Oh, I agree.
It's
But
just Brees
I'm gonna
and Garrett
go.
Wilson, right, Trent, on the Jets side?
You aren't playing. You don't want to do Lazard after his game on Monday. That's the only
I
one would be
won't.
a deep. Yeah, and even like I thought, like man, being in the Jordan Love camp, just like man, do I want to maybe stream Rodgers? And like you're watching that one drive where he just went off, and then you're like, man, he had like no fantasy points. I don't trust him yet. So not enough to start him in a one quarterback league. So
I have the Jets.
I'm going Jets win this game. I'm going Titans.
Yeah, Jets for sure.
Jetties.
Okay.
I'm going Jets. All right, moving on here. We are going Panthers. Sorry, excuse me. Chargers versus Panthers. Current total right now is 38.5. Chargers are currently favored by 5.5. Jordan, you have a start in this game.
Yeah, so I have J.K. Dobbins as a start this game. Dobbins played 58% snaps, had 12 touches, but on those 12 touches, he had 135 yards and a touchdown, 12-yard touchdown run on 10 carries, but he also had a long of 61 yards. Like, for a guy who's been hurt the last couple of years, it's nice to see him look really, really explosive. And so he looked healthy, explosive, kind of back to his original form, how he was a few years ago. Last week, the Saints had 180 yards rushing against the Panthers. If the Chargers get up early, I can see them just running the ball quite a bit. I think Dobbins busts off a long touchdown run here. Plus, you have Chargers being a -6.5 favorite. So, I mean, like, they should be up in this game, running the ball. In this matchup against the Panthers, who I think are probably, man, they're right there with like maybe the Giants and the Giants is the worst team in football. Shoot, they might be the worst team in football, the Panthers. I just think this is a must start. I think you have to start J.K. Dobbins. And Trent, you talked about Mixon having maybe the best like value for his ADP after week 1. I think it's Dobbins. Like 135 yards and a touchdown for how late that guy was going in a lot of drafts. Like, to get 60% snaps, I think, and like, I imagine even in a closer game, they're probably even playing more Dobbins and less Edwards. So I really like Dobbins this week. I think it's a must start. I like his anytime touchdown. I wasn't able to see what his rushing prop was yet, but I'll probably like the over there too. I just think he busts off a really long run against this team.
So what I will say is I usually draft J.K. Dobbins like every single year, and he always gets hurt. Good news, I didn't draft him this year. So one of my favorite guys that I like in fantasy football, I don't have him. So he should be really good. You're right, Jordan. And yeah, the ADP of Dobbins is really good. I like it, and I like the matchup too. And honestly, Jordan, I like Ladd McConkey in this game. I almost made him a sleeper. I didn't think that he was deep enough rated. He was like 33 on PFF. And so I think that this could be a game that Herbert kind of gets him going. Like, Panthers' best defensive lineman isn't even playing in this game. Like, and Chargers, like Max Crosby did nothing to Herbert last week. Like, Herbert had time to throw the ball. I know Herbert didn't need to throw the ball, but I think Herbert's going to be able to dice these guys up if he wants to. And it just takes one. Ladd McConkey did score last week. I think Ladd McConkey has a good game here. I think they kind of try to just get him going, get Herbert in a rhythm. But this offensive line, Herbert has a lot of time. So these receivers should be able to get open. And I think it plays into Ladd's hands.
I just don't know how much they're going to have to throw in this game. So
that's the problem. Yeah. So like, it'd be like, maybe another 12-point outing by McConkey. Yeah. But yeah. I think they're going to run all over him. I think they'll be able to do what they want.
No Panthers for me. I can't play any Panthers.
Yeah. Chargers defense, I think, is underrated. Like, Raiders aren't that good though, so it's hard to see. But like, Khalil Mack had his most sacks of his career last year. No one even talks about it. So like, this defense could be sneaky good right now with that pass rush with Mack and Bosa. So yeah, they could be
just
better.
More, not even really about Chargers defense. Just it's the Panthers are atrocious. So
it's bad. I had high hopes for them, and I think they all crashed and burned last week because I'm just not sure the Saints are that good, is how they made them look. So, anything else we want to touch on in this game? Should have just said like Quentin Johnson catches one like 70-yard TD. That's like the guy they need to get going in a game like this. Is get Quentin Johnson to like.
He was better last week, Trent. He played a lot, played almost most of the entire game. Let's see here. He had 67% snaps, 96% of those out wide. He had 5 targets. He out-targeted Palmer. Palmer did play the most of all the wide receivers, though.
Yeah. So, but this is a game. He just needs a game where he can get going. And maybe this is the one where they're like, even if they're up, they're like, hey, let's get Quentin in a rhythm. So, yeah. All right. So, what do we got next? I'm going to go Chargers. Anyone going Panthers?
No,
I don't. Yeah. Let's see. All right. We have America's game of the week, Seahawks versus the Patriots. The current total right now is 37.5, and Seattle is currently favored by 3.5. Today, DK Metcalf, or recently, I believe, pretty much said that he thought Tyler Lockett is one of the best athletes on earth, which was a kind compliment to say to his compadre there. Seth, any thoughts about the Seahawks week 1, since you're my fellow Seahawks guy?
You were right about the anytime touchdown, Kenny Walker.
Let's go. I know that. I think
Walker was good.
Dude, Walker looked great, but then Charbonnet got I think it was a passing TD, wasn't it? Receiving touchdown. Nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we have those guys just kind of like, dude, it's like a little bit of a 1-2
DK
punch.
Can do though. So
it'd be great to get some DK, Noah Fant. Geno Smith had absolutely no time.
Roster.
Geno Smith did not have any time to pass, though, for the most part. Would you agree to that, Seth?
Yeah, it was not. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a common theme this year, Phil, but it's okay.
And it's like, if that's going to happen, like maybe throw a screen in there. Like, I don't know why, if we're going to just get mobbed like that, we don't throw a screen in every once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, it's just this is the American football that we watch. All right, anything else outside of that? I feel like I gave it a good little
real quick, like we're all JSN people on the spot, I think. Like he's the wide receiver too. Like he played 80% snaps, 90% of the snaps he played was in the slot. Like he's still gonna be the full-time slot guy. So it'll be interesting to see like it only translated 2 targets last week, but I do think it's going to translate eventually to more. And then on the Patriots side, like you're playing Ramondre in a game, dude. Ramondre had, it's kind of crazy how many touches
best
Ramondre
ADP for
had.
running back, maybe.
He had, let me see, where is this? I have it somewhere here.
Well, I have it for you here.
28 touches. That's an insane amount of touches for him. So
yeah.
I mean, if this game is anywhere remotely close, he shouldn't get fed the ball.
Yeah. No. And honestly, I said, we did the Daniel Jones talk earlier, like Geno Smith is probably the guy you'd want to take because he's available in leagues. And I don't know if the Bengals are really bad or if the Patriots are really good. I think I need to see a little bit more before I make these guys the Cinderella team.
I don't think the Patriots are really good. Their defense might be solid.
Yeah.
I have the Seahawks winning this game.
I'm going Seahawks too. Fire up Kenny Walker in DK and maybe wait and see for JSN. All right.
Yep.
Phil, Seth, you guys going Hawks?
Yeah,
Patriots,
Hawks for sure, baby.
Hawks.
Yep. 2-0.
All right. 2-0. Let's go, dude. NFC West is in the bag. All right. Last game, Steelers at Broncos. Current total is 36.5. Steelers are currently favored by 2.5. Trent, you have a start here, and I think this start may frustrate Jordan as much as your Daniel Jones QB start. But let's see.
I should have made this guy as like my dude, like the guy I target. I did talk about him a lot in some solo pods about just guys that weren't going high enough in drafts. But I got Najee Harris. Najee went for Najee had, he didn't have a crazy game last week, but he had 20 rushing attempts for 70 yards. No touchdown yet. Seems like I do think Warren will get more involved, but I think Arthur Smith likes Najee a lot, especially now with Warren coming off the hamstring injury. But playing the Broncos, look at what Kenneth Walker did to the Broncos last week on the ground. I think Najee Harris picks up right where he left off. Justin Fields is playing quarterback. I think they're going to give Najee the ball. Maybe Justin Fields runs a lot too. But give me Najee Harris. I think this is a really good spot for him. You shouldn't be afraid to play him here. And Jordan, I know you like this one too with how bad the Broncos did against running backs last week. The volume should be there against a team that struggles against the run.
Yeah, I was going to have Najee as my start if Trent didn't. So really like this spot for him. Kenny Walker looked really good against the Broncos last week. And Najee's going to get the ball 20, 25 times if they can. With Justin Fields as his quarterback, I think they're just going to be a run-based offense. They're going to run. I do think Warren's going to have his time, especially later as the year goes on. The more Najee not wears down, but just I think they're going to split it up a little bit more. I think Warren's coming off that hamstring is a little more hurt than maybe they're implying. And in games where it's close or they're up, they're not going to need to rely on Warren. When they start playing better teams is when Warren's going to come more into play. So really like this spot for Najee. I very curious what his anytime touchdown and like what his prop is. Like I think like looking at this like a Dobbins anytime touchdown, Najee anytime touchdown parlay is interesting to me.
And then George Pickens didn't play bad last week either. Like he made some good catches. Pickens had 6 catches for 85 yards. So no touchdowns yet, but Fields is getting him the ball. I think they're just kind of having Fields not mess it up.
On the other side, like Cortland Sutton had a ridiculous amount of targets. I think like 11 or something, or it was a lot. Let me pull up that exact number. But I think he's like the only Bronco that you can play.
Yeah. His expected fantasy points are probably going to be crazy every single week with just the amount of targets. Yeah, he had 12 targets. He caught 4 of them for 38 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Bo Nix is horrible. He's absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Can't throw the football at all.
Yeah. He had a nice rushing touchdown, but he's got to have to be able to throw the ball. I'm going Steelers. Anyone going Broncos? Phil was all about Broncos country last year. Russell Wilson revenge game. So it's kind of a bummer he's not playing.
That guy is such a.
What about him being inactive and he still wore his pads, Phil? What about that?
He's a weirdo.
He's such an odd guy. It's crazy to know that Pete Carroll wasn't the weird one.
You might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Who are you taking, Phil? Steelers? What are we taking here?
I'm taking Steelers, yeah.
Seth?
That's like his third favorite team. Now they have Russ. So Seth,
Steelers,
I think Seth's taking Steelers. So
right.
a little bit of malfunctions there. What, Seth?
I think I pressed the button and I double press it because it's not going fast enough and it's not working. I'm gonna go Steelers.
Like your brain.
The only thing is here. Pick up Chris Boswell because they ain't scoring touchdowns. Okay, so they're kicking field goals. So
Bozzy,
maybe that's a good field goal play this week.
The Boz.
There's no lines up yet because I don't think they know who's going to be the starting quarterback for. So there's no lines up for Pittsburgh besides a TJ Watt sack,
which is probably a good play with the young quarterback. So
yeah, it's just a lower multiplier than normal.
Okay. All right, guys. I think that does it. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the prop show on Friday, guys. You won't want to miss that with Seth and Jordan. And I will be back on Monday with my waiver wire ads. And we will see you next time. And as always, guys, take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.